الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر الله أكبر. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. أشهد أن محمدًا رسول الله. حي على الصلاة. حي على الصلاة. حي على الفلاح. حي على الفلاح. الله أكبر الله أكبر. لا إله إلا الله.
So Cappadocia has these caves. They became more elaborate over time. It was started by the Hittites, and they dug really deeply. We went into these caves. They were as much as 8 floors deep. Later on, the Christians used them to hide from the Romans. Okay, here's what the caves look like. Very loud. Oh, there's the ghost of Helene. Oh, there she is again. They were very elaborate. There's our cave hotel. as you could see, the hotel is built into the mountain. We had a cave room. There's the bedroom. And looking out the other side, you could see there's the living room. There's the bathroom. There were no windows in this cave. There's our lobby.
Would you like to ride in my beautiful balloon? Would you like to ride in my beautiful balloon? We could float among the stars together, you and I. For we can fly up and away, my beautiful change you find yourself love. Flying above behind us, keep the moon beside us. Your love is waiting there in my beautiful balloon. Way up in the air in my beautiful balloon. If you'll hold my hand, we'll chase your dream across the sky. For we can
Oh, Yuchitas.
There we go.
Nice. Bravo.
Seyrettim Muhammed'i aynı
Can kucağında tuttum sırdaş, çalmış bulanmış durmuş olsun.
Kolot balevav penigma nefesh Yehudi homia ulfatei mizrach kadima ein letzion Sophia עוד לא עבדה תקוותנו התקווה בת שנות 2000 להיות עם חופשי בארצנו
The street.
Look, according to Jewish law,
Shabbat.
you're not allowed to
Saturday
carry
is
stuff with you on Shabbat outside your home. You're not allowed to carry anything. Therefore, for example, if you come here, you will see this gentleman, for example, on Shabbat going to the synagogue. He will not carry his talis in his hand. He will be wearing it. Because then it's considered a costume and not something that you carry. Offering coffee. This is bitter coffee, the way they drink it. To taste the coffee.
So this is like when we went to the home in Jordan.
تاريخ. يعني أنا بقول أهلا وسهلا بضيوف.
Welcome everybody.
وأنا اسمي سارة.
My name is Sarah.
عمري
Do you want to translate, Huda?
maybe next time.
Okay.
اليوم 67.
I'm 67 years old.
جبت 10 أولاد.
I've got 10 children,
6 بنات و4 أولاد.
6 girls and 4 boys.
يعني الأولاد مع البنات 22.
I have 22 grandchildren.
بس الكثير بنات.
But more from the girls. There are more female grandchildren than male. Yeah, طيب. بعدين.
يعني أنا ما مشيت للمدرسة بس بحب علمت البنات.
I never had any schooling, unfortunately. So she's illiterate. But she loves education and all her daughters studied well.
يعني عندي بنات 3 بعلم معلمات مدرسة.
3 of my daughters are teachers.
أولادهن كمان هم بعلمن وأنا بدير بالي بجيبن الأولاد عنديكم.
She take care of her all grandchildren.
Ah, very good. Huda, can I go?
I'm speaking this because he is my teacher. My English teacher. You know?
Very good.
I brought you the book.
Oh.
Right. This is for you, and this is to study on your own. Do the spinning.
Drop spindle. It's called a drop spindle.
Drop spindle. All right, drop spindle. Surely her daughters or Huda wouldn't be able to do it. They have no experience in it. She did it ever since she was 5 or 6 years old. All right, so you're walking with the animals and you're spinning at the same time. Fadali. No, ETR. Everybody encourage her. She's a bit insecure.
Come on, you can do it. Is the other girl from her tree?
Yes, yeah. It's getting better all the time. Go for it. Good.
A lot of fun. I felt in touch with the
earth?
Bedouin community.
Yeah.
See what they go through.
You look very bad. I think you should move here. This could be your next occupation.
Where is it?
Yeah. Very nice. It looks like
It's hot.
looks like Florida. Better than the original, or
I like it. It's
good?
media.
It's media.
How much is this?
There it is.
Chicken. 10 shekels. Let's see what I have here.
Welcome. Yes. Raise your voice. على صوتك. Thank you. Thank you. Okay.
אני منها בדואיות הראשונות שיצאו ללמוד. היה מאוד
We are a family of 7 daughters. I'm the first. I'm one of the first Bedouin ladies who went to study at the university outside the village.
מאוד קשה מבחינה מסורתית. וגם כן היה
It was very much against tradition and there was a lot of opposition in the village.
כבישים ולא
At the time there were no roads in the village and there were no buses going to Beersheba. And I had to face these challenges, both the traditional ones and the physical ones. And I grew up in an unrecognized village. So it's only my strong will that made it possible.
וגם כן
So even though they opposed it, I still went to study and I got support from my grandfather. My father used to work the whole week out of home and we saw him only on the weekend. And my grandfather actually took a risk by supporting me because it was against the wish of all his peers. He was a respectable man and all the other important people were very much against it. We were very close. I was surprised when my mother supported me by saying, "Don't give up. You were born after 9 months of pregnancy just like the man." And my mother said, I raised 7 girls and I've always been treated as secondary best because I have no sons. So I want you to prove that you are not only as good as men, but even better.
Hello. All right. Do you understand English?
No, look at it.
Wait a minute. No, over here.
No.
You?
Good.
What's your name?
My name is Muhammad. My name is Muhammad.
Okay. And what's your name?
My name is Bilal.
Oh, and your name?
My name is Sakha.
You what? What's his name?
Sakha.
Sakha?
איך קוראים לך? שו אסמק?
Mansoor.
Mansoor. His name is Mansoor.
What's your name?
My name is Phil. And your name?
Suhail.
Oh, that's a pretty name. Drew's village, about 10,000 people. Thank you.
And so, just outside this village, there is a hill known as the Shouting Hill. And people will come from both sides, from Syria and from here, to communicate by loudspeakers. That went on for a long time. And then, when did they meet for the first time? When Israel signed peace with Jordan in 94. So they all went to Amman. He came from Syria, they came from here, and they met for the first time post 1994. So I guess They didn't meet for almost 20 years.
Alright, ladies and gentlemen, good evening.
Good evening.
I'm sure you guys know what you're doing here. My name is Mati, and 22 years old, before anybody asks. Single, and we'll speak a little about the Jewish ultra-Orthodox people.
Single but wanted.
So, I don't know if you guys are exposed to ultra-Orthodox Jews, but in Israel, it's very easy to spot us, right? Basically, as you can see, you spot the ultra-Orthodox people from their clothing. We wear the white dress shirts, the dark colored pants, and the kippah on the head. And you know, if we walk in the street, it's really easy to spot us. That's through this clothing, that's how we define ourselves as different than the rest of society. TVs, we don't have TVs at home, at all. Yeah, we don't watch movies to avoid nudity, violence, bad language. We have also what we call the Jewish music. The Jewish music, it's not, you know, it's not like today's music, it's not love songs. It's sayings that were taken from the Bible and put together into a song. Of course, there's Jewish singers who sing this. Also, with newspapers, our society's got its own paper. Okay, it's this paper. It censors inappropriate photos. There's no gossip written in there. Another thing is, no criminal issues are reported in these papers. Okay, when I say criminal, I mean, of course, terrorist attacks and things like that will be reported. But I mean murder or rape. That is not reported in these papers. Another interesting thing, in Israel there's no civil marriage at all, right? Any person, even if we're not dealing with Orthodox people, must go through Jewish marriage, rabbinical marriage, and this is done in the rabbinical courts, the judge courts that go by the Jewish law.
The best is to sit and learn, to study Talmud. That's what we believe. Even the part of us who decided that he can't. What I'm trying to say is that people who are studying and learning Talmud, they know that they
pay a price.
They pay a price for it, and they are ready. They are ready, and they want to pay the price for it. They want to live a lower life and a lower style. Yeah, that's how you say it.
Yeah.
And they're ready to pay for it.
Beyond the valley stretches the border between Israel and Syria. Inside Syrian territory, you can see the new town of Quneitra. On October 6, 1973, on Yom Kippur, the holiest day in the Jewish calendar, the Egyptian and Syrian armies launched a simultaneous surprise attack against Israel.
A few years ago, Palestinians ran across this fence and stayed here for a few days, caused a great deal of controversy. The fence across Syria.
Glad you chose Israel's OAT program so that you get a chance to learn about the Palestinians. My name is Firas Al-Ahmad. I'm an Arab Palestinian Muslim born in the Old City in the Muslim Quarter. Junior high school was in the Old City. And then I was lucky enough for high school to move in with my uncle, who was retiring at the time, in North Carolina, where I finished my high school and I went on to the University of North Carolina in Chapel Hill to get my degree in international studies and journalism. I moved back home in 1996. Home is Jerusalem, and I worked for the Palestine National Authority, writing on behalf of the PNA. and especially acting as a consultant for the Ministry of Tourism, actually, to create and write about a Palestinian tourism market in Bethlehem, in Hebron, in Nablus, pamphlets, and what we believe in Jericho, we still believe is a fair struggle against an unfair occupation. Now, some people may say, well, the Israelis won the territories. That was a war called 1967 war. Point is, if we're going to live in a world where the mentality is might is right and winner keeps all, then you can forget about minority rights, women's rights, you can forget about Chechnya, you can forget about Georgia, you should have forgotten about South Africa, and so on and so forth. The fact is that we have to live in a world where international law means something, where the United Nations, no matter how inefficient some people think it is, that it actually means something. Because after all, it's the United Nations that created the State of Israel in 1948, by the way. So you cannot have your cake and eat it. You cannot say the United Nations resolutions mean nothing when it comes to the Palestinian people and keep building settlements, for example. And at the same time, it was the United Nations that made Israel what it is. It was the international... Any other question?
Yeah, please. First of all, I have a great deal of sympathy and respect for the Palestinian people.
Thank you.
And the story you told about your son angers me, and it saddens me. When a Palestinian or some radical will go into a shopping center and blow themselves up, you know, I feel that same way for the Israelis. And I have no dog in this race. I'm agnostic when it comes to this. I'm trying to see this objectively. But let's say you did draw up an agreement, an equitable agreement, both sides can agree on land for peace. What is the guarantee? The land will be given, but what's the guarantee for the peace? You said there was 700,000 people that might have claims on various businesses or whatever. There's always going to be people who feel they were left out. What's to prevent them from blowing themselves up? In other words, just putting yourself in the Israeli shoes for a second, why would they give up land unless they can be guaranteed peace? And who can guarantee it?
Yeah. A Palestinian state will be demilitarized. This is according to the Oslo peace process. A third party can guarantee the peace. A Jordanian force, and Jordan has excellent relations with the State of Israel. A joint American, European, Turkish, Russian force manning the 1967 border can guarantee the peace. Your question, why would Israel give up land and why they haven't? They haven't because there is not enough international pressure on them to do that. Because in my view, the world community, the international community, is tacitly turning the other eye when it comes to one of the oldest occupations in the world.
Yehudi Humia Ulfatei Mizrach Kadima Ein Letzion Sophia
of all your documents, or are they the originals?
Oh, actually, I have this one. My birth certificate is framed.
Okay.
And my brother's birth certificates I have framed. But
Okay.
instead of having a picture of them,
I
this
see
is what I
that.
have. And these are pictures of me in Sweden. This one is with a dog tag. And a bigger picture of that. People very often ask you about the number. Only people at Auschwitz had numbers.
Oh.
In Bergen-Belsen and other places, they would either have a number on their shirt or like a dog tag.
Can we see that picture over here?
Yeah, sure.
Of you and
But I have, yeah, sure, you can see all of them. This is me on the ship.
In the middle? You were in the right or the middle?
Middle.
Middle. In the middle.
And I had a green outfit on the ship and I had a red dress. This is it from the DP card. I was in Biaja. My name was Fredja Lichtenstein. This is Platz Czernski, which is my address. You know what my profession was? The place that I was born was in Poland because I really didn't know what. But my profession, here.
Crystal maker?
No.
What kind? Children, kindred.
Is this the school you were in?
Is this
yes,
the
that's
picture?
Anna. That's a picture of us. And this was Anna.
Did you come to Ellis Island?
Yes.
Yeah, I saw your Statue of Liberty.
I saw the Statue of Liberty. And this is the address, and the way I know the address is because in Sweden, apparently they wrote that that was the address that I lived in. If you find the list in Sweden, there's a DP card.
The crucifixion at the rocks, 1 o'clock. The Second Temple, destroyed by the Romans in 70 AD. This is the Dome of the Rock, built on the site of the Second Temple by Muslims in 637 AD. Schindler's Tree.